This is the intro to the show that no one can hear because YouTube is gay and has a 30-second on ramp. We're gonna make it an official song and play it at the beginning of every brief. Can I get a 5 by 5? No, you can't because you're not live. Well, look who it is. It's the dang old internet again. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I am Bear from the internet. Oh, shalom, Bear. Oh, hi, everybody. How are we today? We're great, Bear. Awesome. Cool. Artorias, 5 by 5. Thank you so much, Artorias. Beautiful, lovely, tremendous. Believe it. It is the 10th of July, 2024. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. If, I don't know. Nobody knows anything about calendars. But the Babylonians said, the Mayans said, they're all dead. You talked to a Mayan lately? You talked to an actual Babylonian lately? Whatever. Listen, it's the last day for donor matching at Caleb House today. We need to raise another 52K. Praise the Most High. We can do it. Bear Nation, boys, gerbils, ladies. Listen, I appreciate you deeply. If we don't raise another dime today, thank you for everything that you've done. You're absolutely incredible. Like, legit. That being said, I suffer from target fixation. The goal is the goal. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. Bless y'all. We're going to do the brief today. We're going to read some of the news today. That air quote news. Let's be radicalized and propagandized together. Sound good? Okay, Bear. Cool. Shalom, Tyler. You that Tyler guy from that movie where they beat each other up and made soap? It's like a survival movie, if you think about it. Like hand-to-hand combat and soap making that's actually about mental health. Wow. Deep thoughts with Bear. What's up, Badger? Sarah, everybody in the chat. Let me get the nicotine in my face. How could you do that? You're a pastor. Uh-huh. Anyway, let me get this nicotine in my face. We'll do the brief. 10 July 24. Rafah, the last safe haven for Palestinians, is now unrecognizable. The civilians, yeah, FAFO, you harbor terrorists forever and a day, bad shit's going to happen to you. Are you saying you support Israel? I didn't say that either. I'm saying actions have consequences. I'm also saying that the nation state of Israel in the Middle East is not the biblical Israel. But that's a much deeper conversation. And when I read the Bible on camera, 3,000 to 5,000 of y'all show up for a video. But when I talk about the friggin' world's going to end, 97,000 of you show up. And then you're out of context. Like, what is Bear talking about? Do the homework. The sounds of sporadic gunfire echo off the rubble left behind, where a refuge for 1 million people once stood. When the IDF launched operations in Rafah in May, people were told to evacuate northward to central Gaza. Now it's been reported that, quote, columns of Israeli tanks, end quote, are closing in on Gaza City. And tanks is a general term for most people who don't know what armor looks like. And I'm not saying I'm an expert in it, but I do at least know the difference between an APC and a tank and a Bradley. And yeah, you know what I mean? But anyway, columns of Israeli tanks. Maybe they are tanks. Maybe they're M1s. I don't know. Are closing in on Gaza City, and evacuation orders have been issued for several neighborhoods there. They have nowhere to go. No. If in your mind you've already accepted that you have nowhere to go, just like life lessons with Bear, you're dead already. You have nowhere to go. I'm stuck here. Yep, you're right. Yeah, you are. I'm stuck here. If we don't leave, we will certainly die. I guess we're just going to die. All right, well, your weak-ass genes are no longer in the gene pool. Well, that's, you call yourself a pastor. What about the passion, the compassion of Christ? What about pick up your cross and bear it? What about move? What about follow me? All of these are verbs. They imply action. Get off your ass and move. Columns of tanks are closing in on Gaza City, and evacuation orders have been issued for several neighborhoods there. Another area that's enduring the worst of the assault received no such orders until Monday afternoon. This is the fifth invasion in the city since the start of this year, and it is the first, air quote, widespread incursion, end quote, according to the Jerusalem Post. The Jerusalem Post. There's no winners here. There's a bunch of losers here. There's not even, being perfectly honest, a great side to support. The people who are involved. I'm for the preservation of life for people, be they Palestinian children, be they Israeli children, be they Ukrainian children, be they Russian children, and be they any nation or ethnicity or tongue of children of the Most High. I'm also a realist. And if bombs are falling on your location, move. If the armored column of tanks is coming, move. We can't stay here. You get a 97-pound inch bag. I'm never coming home again. Yeah, you're not, because your home's going to be leveled. Also, that 97-pound bag and your complete lack of PT for months, years, decades is going to kill you. You'd be better to just throw your Crocs on and waltz out of the house with a couple of things in your pocket. Then I'm never coming home again. No, you're not. You're not coming home again, because there's no home to return to. Sorry, not sorry. Pre-workout, lifting this morning. Got a lot of important shit to do today, and I'm just a little extra. Just a little extra. Who was that? Biffer. Shalom. Have an awesome day. Diaper, coffee, whiskey, small donut. I appreciate you, Biffer. Thanks for the 20. Have a fabulous day. What's up, Mad Kelp? All right, maybe I should dial it down a little bit. I'm probably pissing people off. Gentle bear. One Gaza resident, Abdel Ghani, echoed the sentiments of other people interviewed there, telling the BBC, quote, "The enemy is behind us and the sea is in front of us. Where shall we go?" When residents flee an evacuation, they often arrive in an area only to discover that it too is under attack. A cameraman working for the BBC in Al Rimal said, quote, "Did not receive any evacuation orders, but later learned that his neighbor did." He left the area with his family and headed north. They are now in the port area, but they lack basic necessities because they're in a war zone. They're in a war zone, but they don't have any basic necessities because it's not their job, people, to take care of them. They need other people to take care of them. Food, water, LGBTQIA plus reading materials. He says they are now struggling to find water for his children. Meanwhile, negotiations for ceasefire are picking up. Fuck all that. On Monday in Egypt, CIA Director Bill Burns and U.S. Middle East Envoy Brett McGurk met with the counterparts from Egypt, Israel, and Jordan. White House National Security Spokesman John Kirby said, quote, "We've been working this very, very hard. And there are still some gaps that remain in the two sides and the positions, but we wouldn't have sent a team over there if we didn't think that we had a shot here." End quote. Meanwhile, Russian missiles struck Kyiv in a massive barrage on a city in broad daylight during rush hour Monday morning. Overall, at least 37 were killed and over 170 were wounded. It's okay. You got a Timo tourniquet and you got a pouch made in China, you're fine. Totally survivable. A children's hospital was also struck in the attacks. President, air quote, because he's now unelected because he missed his window for re-election because martial law was declared due to war, which you have funded with your taxpayer dollars so that politicians could launder money through the Hegelian dialectic of war over there in Ukraine to feed the Democratic National Committee and probably the Republican National Committee at some point. We'll talk about them in a minute. And then are going to require your sons and daughters, my sons and daughters, to go over there to extract the $13 trillion worth of minerals from underneath the ground. That little thing that's going on, yeah, that's why Zelensky couldn't be reelected, because there's a war going on. No shit, asshole. Really? Yeah, we're aware. But this is why Ukraine needs to be, we need to have an on-ramp for them into NATO because they're a democratic state. and they're a good security partner. No, they're the chessboard that we're currently playing chess on. Not we, they, the upper echelons of the global elites. And boys and gerbils, they're going to extract wealth from that place to the best of their ability as well, because Halliburton gonna Halliburton, yo, Raytheon gonna Raytheon, right? It just is the way that it is. Don't worry, Fight Night, no big deal. Military industrial complex, nothing to worry about, because the intelligence community has done a phenomenal job of propagandizing all of us through social media and the availability, the overwhelming availability of air quote information that just pours into our face holes every day. President, air quote, Volodymyr Zelensky has promised to, quote, hold Russia accountable for its acts of terror and Putin for ordering the strikes, end quote. What he meant to say there is he's going to continue to serve in the role that he's in, because he's literally an actor and he's going to act like a president. And we're going to have this dog and pony show over there in Ukraine that Russia takes seriously, that the West is like, man, whatever. It's an existential crisis. If we don't deal with Russia, they could take out Europe. And Russia's like, no, we just don't want NATO on our doorstep. And we're like, don't worry, that would never happen. Also, by the way, Ukraine is joining NATO. Dude, WTF? Like, what? If you managed a coffee shop the way that these politicians manage the greatest country on the face of the earth, you'd be fired in a day, maybe an hour. Now, don't get me wrong. Coffee's incredibly important. It's not as important as the future of our country for our children. If you mismanaged, like a small retail shop, something tiny, a lemonade stand, if you run a lemonade stand this way, you'd be bankrupt in a day. But we can run a country this way. Thanks, Deb. $5. Appreciate you. You know why? Because the lemonade stand is subsidized through extortion. You don't have to make good lemonade when you're going to get paid either way. And if people don't pay, will not pay for your lemonade, then you have your lemonade thugs go roll them up, put them in an orange jumpsuit, put them in a 10 by 12 concrete box because they failed to pay the extortion fees to subsidize the lemonade stand. Yeah. Coming on the heels of these events is the NATO summit, which will be hosted in Washington, D.C. Yo, Putin, if you got any of them nukes, and just say, in other news, White House officials have already said that they will be rolling out a series of measures to support Ukraine. Much of the media coverage leading up to the NATO meeting concerning the, quote, pivotal moment and distinct challenge, end quote, that President Biden will have to face there. Dude, President Biden. Dude keeps, like, he puts in less hours being the president of the United States of America. 10 to 4 is his current office hours. Bro, I spent more hours than that on one of the things that I do yesterday. Just on one of them. I gave a presentation on Monday at Refuge that just the presentation at Refuge had 15 hours of biblical study in it to make sure that I was adequately supporting the points that I was making inside of the company with biblical truth in context. But the president of the United States of America, asterisk. Now, he only works 10 to 4. Dude, sign me up for this job. This sounds sweet. Like, if I didn't care about people so much, this would be the best job ever. You work 6 hours a day. You extract trillions of dollars from the peasants. You get to do whatever you want. You can shit your pants on live TV. And then Whoopi Goldberg will come out and defend you. Have you guys seen that? I think it was yesterday. What's up, Dr. Trev? Atweb. Hey, look who it is. It's Atweb. I was listening to what was it? The Right Report, I think it was yesterday morning on my way to the gym with Bug Out Bob. And Whoopi Goldberg is on saying, yeah, so he pooped his pants. And then she's like, I've had 100 poopy days. It happens to everybody. I'm like, did Whoopi Goldberg just go on national TV and say, it's okay that he shits his britches? I shit my britches too. You know what that's actually called? Like when you're trying to establish rapport? It's literally a little chant that you do in your head where you go, one of us, I'm like you, you're like me, we're all the same. They're trying to humanize this reptilian overlord named Joseph Biden. We go, like, he poops his pants. Everybody poops their pants. Dude, they wrote a book about it. Everybody poops. He's just a normal guy. Yeah, he's senile, probably has Parkinson's. You seen that come out? There's been multiple visits for a Parkinson's specialist to the White House. That's interesting. We know when and where that guy showed up to, the Parkinson's guy, but we still don't know who it was that put the cocaine in the locker at the White House. That just happened to be there at the same time that Hunter Biden was visiting. It's an enigma. How could this have happened? Anyway, NATO's getting together so they can figure out how to spend your money and kill your children. So you'll probably hear some reporting about that in the near future. Okay? Okay, Bear. All right, cool. Good talk, everybody. Before we switch over to the really interesting article over at Russia Today. Yes, I know, propaganda. It's all propaganda. Before we do that, I want to tell you guys about something super cool. A couple of super cool things. The first is this medical tape right here. This comes from a company called Tactical Equipment. And this medical tape, this is 2-inch cloth tape. It's excellent for hot spots and blisters on your feet from rucking. Ask me how I know. But it's also excellent medical tape. But then it also has these little slots on it right here that you fill in with your Sharpie that you pulled out of your Bear Factor, your ankle kit, that as you're treating the patient, you can get patient history and vitals. And what you do, the way this works, is you take a piece of this tape. So you fold it up the corner so you can get your finger on it right there. You take a piece of this tape, you rip it off, and you stick it to your patient. And then when you hand your patient off to hire, you stick them in an ambulance or a helicopter or, I don't know, a freaking John boat if you're part of the Cajun Army, Cajun Navy, whatever you're into. The patient history goes with them. And then you're not trying to remember all that shit in the moment. Yeah, we just got a bunch of this in stock at Refuge Medical. It's cool stuff. One of the military contracts that we're serving right now requires this. And so I've been trying to get this from the manufacturer for a couple of years already. But I don't know if you know this, the world has been filled with global warfare for the last couple of years. It's been hard to get. We had to have it in order to fill these kits for these dudes who are going to place to do a thing. And I told Britannica at the store, I said, hey, you're badass. Instead of getting what we need to fill this contract, get a shit ton of it. And she did. So now it's in the store at refugemedical.com. And use promo code BEARNATION for free shipping, okay? Okay, Bear. From Russia Today. Headline, Farage party asked to prove its candidates were not AI bots. What? Farage party asked to prove its candidates were not AI bots. Some nominees from Reform UK reportedly had no online presence and used digitally rendered campaign photos. Nigel Farage's Eurosceptic anti-immigration Reform UK party is under pressure to prove that none of its candidates in the recent general election were AI bots. Reform won 4 seats in last week's vote and garnered more than 4 million votes. That's about some of the party's 609 election hopefuls were first raised on social media, where users questioned the photos on Reform UK's campaign flyers, claiming they appeared to be AI generated. Others noted that many of the candidates had no biographies available online or contact beyond generic email addresses and almost no social media or other digital footprint. The rest of the article basically says, Nigel Farage says, no way, bro, we would never do that. And then journalists are saying, prove it. And what I find interesting about that, what's up, Justin? What I find interesting about that is something that I had never considered until I saw this article. Got a new wrinkle in my brain on this one. Are these ludicrous assholes literally running robots as candidates? See, because here in the United States of America, in the last election, air quote election that we had in 2020, remember when Biden just stayed in his basement for like the entire thing because COVID, people could get the flu and feel really bad and stuff. And oh, they get the flu, we'll put them on a ventilator, that'll kill them. And then we can pump these numbers up. But these are amateur numbers. We got to get these numbers up. If we're going to have a pandemic, we got to make it look and feel like we have a pandemic, right? And so Biden hid in his basement, except for when he would go to like a fundraising event, which was filled with 0 people, or not zero, but 12 to 24 people who were social distancing because they had cover for action because COVID. We can't fill this place. No, you can't fill this place with people not because of COVID. You can't fill this place with people because you're wildly unpopular, regardless of the 81 million votes that you allegedly got through the Dominion voting systems, right? And so that established a precedence to where politicians don't necessarily have to be seen campaigning while running for office. And if we go with that precedent, just stay with me here, wrap another layer of tinfoil around your head before we go any further. If we have this precedence where politicians don't have to be seen campaigning, then we don't actually need people to do that, do we? We could just invent some. We just use AI, chat bots and digital imaging. And now where they messed up is they had no digital footprint. They had no social media presence. One of the things we do with Caleb House is OSINT, open source intelligence. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. You have a digital footprint. You can be found. If you have a device, you have an iPhone, you have a Samsung, you have a Google phone, a Windows phone, whatever. You have a tablet, a laptop, a television. You can be found. And the fact that they can't find these people is indicative of the fact to me that, oh, right, they're not people. I never thought about that before. But if these assholes do that, I mean, one, I respect the audacity, but it's just full blown wood chipper time at this point. Like, and wood chipper's like polite. I'm talking about like a tandem axle Vermeer BC 2000 XL with a grapple and a winch on the back of it, whole tree chipper with like a Prentice 120E or a Tiger Cat or something, just with a grapple, just picking stacks of politicians up and just shoving them into the feed chute. What? Well, Bear, I thought pedophiles go into chippers. They do, but it's a 2-for-1 because it's almost guaranteed that if they're a politician with any standing anywhere in the world, that they're also a pedophile. So it's like, that's guilty by association. You're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, Washington, D.C. is not my neighbor, right? And Messiah said, if you hurt one of these children, it would be better that I hung a millstone around your neck and threw you into the ocean. Okay, so Messiah said, I will drown your ass if you hurt one of these kids. All right, cool. We're just going to get some big rocks and some paracord and push people into the sea. I'm down with that too. You sound like a religious extremist. You sound like you should read your freaking Bible. That's what you sound like. Rock pile, says Colonel Lebowski. So anyway, AI politicians are a thing now, allegedly, in the UK. From the Blaze, this one's fun. If Biden does not step down, the Democrats will lose. No shit, says Disney heiress. Abigail Disney, blah, blah, blah. Intro paragraphs, suffice it to say, blah, blah, blah. She's old in California. And then we get into a quote here. Quote, I intend to stop any contributions to the Democratic Party unless and until they replace Biden at the top of the ticket. This is realism, not disrespect. Biden is a good man and has served his country admirably, but the stakes are far too high, end quote. Following quote, if Biden does not step down, the Democrats will lose. Of that, I'm absolutely certain. The consequences for the loss will be genuinely dire, end quote. A couple of observations here. Number one, if these politicians didn't have so much power, not every election would be the most important election of our lifetime. Dude, stop. Read the founding documents. You don't like the founding documents? In the founding documents, there's a method to amend the founding documents to make it say the thing you want it to say, not the thing that it does say. But instead, we have an administrative state, not just judicial and executive and legislative, but we also have administrative. And it's although Chevron deference, that's pretty cool. But right now it's just in theory because nothing's actually happened with it yet, right? Exactly, Nick. They're not stewards of anything. So we have an administrative branch. Also, if you didn't already know, Disney openly supports the Democratic ticket. Now, and don't get me twisted here. It's like, oh, Bear was clearly a Republican. Dude, I'm so conservative, fiscally, socially, biblically conservative, that the Republicans don't like me either. It's like all you people in the comments, like, Bear must be a Jew. No, I'm so Christian, the Christians don't even recognize me anymore. I'm so Christian, the Christians don't like me anymore. I am so in love with Messiah and trying to walk in his model so hard. Not in his model, not what some pussy pastor, beta male, wannabe self-help motivational speaker said on Sunday morning. Not that. What Messiah did. Dude, that bro was ripped. He flipped tables over at the temple, big stone tables in a righteous anger. Well, he was mad. Yeah, but read it. He showed up, observed, looked around and said, this shit is not righteous. Left, braided a whip of cords, then premeditated, went back with a whip, drove out the money changers, flipped the tables, cleansed his house, for he was filled with ardor for his father's house. Okay? See, Messiah wasn't a pussy. Regardless of, yes, you should love your neighbor. Absolutely. We should forsake not the widow and the orphan. Absolutely. You don't have to just be a really nice guy, brother, in the process of doing that. Same thing with Republicans. Oh, the conservative, the far right. Bro, I'm so far past far right. Dude, your far right is a joke. War hawks, fiscal conservatism, please. It's a joke. We now, dude, we spend more on servicing the national debt per year than we do on national defense. Tell me you're an empire in your end stage of life without telling me you're an empire in your stage of life. So this whole Republican versus Democrat thing, it's a myopic paradigm that you've been force-fed for however long you've been alive, and you've been told you have to pick a side. Bullshit. Objectively observe. You shall know them by their works. They both suck. They're both terrible. Oh, you must be an independent. Dude, stop trying to label me. I'm a man. I exist. I'm built in the image of my creator. I'm covered by the blood of the lamb. That's what I am. What's your politics, Bear? Leave me alone or find out. That's my politics. Stop spending my money. Stop spending people to die in bullshit wars. That's my politics. And government should be as small as possible. So not every election is the most important election of our lifetime. Dude, it should just be a normal Tuesday. Oh, which asshole won this time? Cool. He has no power anyway. But I digress deeply. So Disney lady says, nope, not doing it anymore. CNBC reported the following donations from Disney lady, Abigail Disney. $50,000 to the Jane Fonda Climate PAC. Yeah, because Jane Fonda is known and respected. $35K to Democrats running for congressional seats. $150,000 to Planned Parenthood. $26,000 to the Biden campaign. And $400,000 in total to Democrats and just in the 2024 election cycle. So not only is Disney woke, they're also funding the enemy. So I would, if that convicted you, I would audit how you're spending your money each week, each month. If it's got Disney on the label, I'm good. Thanks. She goes on to say, quote, we have an excellent vice president. If Democrats would tolerate any of her perceived shortcomings, even 1/10 as much as they've tolerated Biden's, and let's not kid ourselves about where race and gender figure in that iniquity. And if Democrats can find a way to stop quibbling and rally around her, we can win this election by a lot, end quote, she said. Dude. So now they're making the argument of, well, Kamala might have some quirks, but she's not really as quirky as the president is. So she might be bad, but she's not as bad as Biden is. Okay, got it. We'll settle on bad, not terrible for the leader of the free world. Meh. Last article I wanted to look at from the Wall Street Journal. This one's interesting. BT dubs. Russia seeks to boost Trump in 2024 election, U.S. intelligence officials say. The Russian government has launched a whole-of-government effort to influence the outcome of the U.S. presidential election and favors Republican candidate Donald Trump in the race, a senior U.S. intelligence official has said Tuesday. First of all, have you noticed, I don't know, in the last few years, that all of these sources are unnamed sources? That used to be a thing in journalism because, like, you never expose your sources, right? You don't want any backlash on them. Now it's just turned into a guy said something. Did he? Well, I can't divulge my sources. Oh, so you made that shit up. Got it. Got it. And then also it's turned into, oh, there's a narrative we want to push. And this is why we're on this article. There's a narrative we want to push. So um we'll just say that some guy said this, a senior US intelligence operative. Shut up. Anyway, I digress. The Wall Street Journal is saying that there's a Russian whole of government effort to use AI bots in its election to support Donald Trump. Why are they saying that? Remember the Steele dossier that Hillary Clinton, like all the way made up, turns out completely fabricated, just complete and utter bullshit. The Russian collusion, Russian collusion, Russian collusion. Yeah, she of Benghazi fame. Remember her? Which, by the way, the Democratic Party is also trying to float Hillary as a viable alternative to Biden. How old is she? How much blood is on her hands? Like, she's like the head witch in this satanic cult, and we're like, we're gonna elect her. Meh, no, 0% impressed. So remember the whole Russian collusion bullshit that happened years ago, right? Brandon, okay, I get that you're walking as close as possible with the Lord, but what about swearing? Believe me, I'm not judging, but you're the first pastor I've heard who swears like you do. Swearing, bro, swearing refers to oaths. You're not supposed to swear, and get a different copy other than the King James, because is it a serviceable translation? Other than do not add to or take away from the word of the Lord your God, Yahweh your Elohim, and King James did both to push an agenda. Swearing means to make a promise to keep your word, which is Torah, let your yes be yes and your no be no. It doesn't mean to let certain sounds come out of your face. And then you could go to the teachings of Shaul of Tarsus, the Apostle Paul, and let all your words be profitable for reproof and instruction and for building up and in love. Dude, my words are profitable for reproof and instruction and for building up, and they're in love. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I don't have to be on YouTube. There are days I don't love being on YouTube. There are weeks and months and sometimes occasionally a year that goes by where I don't want to do this shit. But I do it because genuinely I am trying to make you better. And with everything that we do, whether it's preparedness, whether it's the intel briefs, whether it's especially the reading of the word, the praying together, the dwell time that we have with each other, that's what I'm trying to do here, to build you up in love. Not for me. Bro, I got 5 companies. I've been up since 04:15 today. In the last 96 hours, I've had 11 hours and 45 minutes of sleep. I literally have one of the potentially the most important meetings of my life the moment I get off of this video screen with you. Logically, bro, I got more important shit to do. So it's an act of love for me to even show up in the first place. Swearing is saying, I will do this or I won't do that. And Messiah says, do not swear by the heavens or the earth or by the altar, but let your yes be yes and your no be no. It's not somebody made some sounds with their face that I don't like. Amanda's Homestead. Bless you. What's up, Yankee Watchdog? Do-do-do-do. Andy Barnes, shalom, brother. Love you back. What's up, sister Dana? Look, everybody, grateful preps, everybody in the chat. So back to this Russian collusion thing, okay? Here's my potential concern. I don't believe there was Russian collusion in 2020. I believe they're going to manufacture Russian collusion in 2024 to undermine the legitimacy of Trump when he's elected in a landslide, because the Democrats are a shit show right now. And then during and after the fact, roll out all of their air quote evidence showing that Russia was directly involved in getting Trump elected, which, if they were, doesn't mean that Trump worked with Russia to get him elected. And then they're going to go, look, there's a pattern of behavior here. This happened in 2020. It happened again in 2024. Let's impeach this asshole, get him out of here. We'll get somebody else in. That's what I think's going on here. back to that King James thing. If you need a real Bible, you can get a copy of the scriptures from us, grindstoneministries.com. Repeat, grindstoneministries.com. Link is in the description. You can buy it at our cost, or you can just email us if you can't afford one, and we will send you one for free. We've given away more than 7,000 Bibles. A bunch of y'all have donated money towards Bibles. Then they go out as quick as people request them. Also, I appreciate every single one of you, gentle rebuke. A bunch of y'all call the Refuge store and you're like, hey, I need Bibles. That's awesome. Refuge will help you because like real people answer the phone at Refuge Medical, like real people, including me, are in the customer service chat if you click the thing on the website. And we'll direct you to the right place to get Bibles. But Grindstone Ministries is where you get the Bibles from. Link is in the description. If you want to donate to Caleb House, don't call the Refuge store because Refuge does TACMED, bro. We are the fine art of not dying. We are the preservation of life. We're not Caleb House. It's a separate organization. So you go to calebhouse.org and then you contact the Caleb House team. And so I'm just throwing that out there. Thank you for calling the store. And if you do happen to call the store and you're like, hey, I need help with this thing, regardless of what it may be, right? Refuge will help you, but you'll get helped faster if you go to the right place to begin with. If you go to Grindstone Ministries for Bibles or for disaster relief or to sign up to volunteer, we got a church building we got to fix. So if you want to do construction stuff, hit us up, grindstoneministries.com. If you want to plug into all of that, you go to grindstoneministries.com. If you want to support the anti-human trafficking mission, you go to calebhouse.org. If you want TACMED stuff, you go to refugemedical.com, which I guess I haven't communicated clearly enough, which is why we're issuing this clarification now. Yeah, and so like when you call Refuge, a real person is going to answer the phone because that's a big part of what we do. We're trying to humanize every aspect of our process as the rest of the world runs headlong into AI, so much so that apparently in the UK, they're running AI candidates in the government. We're like, no, people matter. We're here to take care of people. I want to talk to people. I want to help people. I'm for the preservation of life for people. So all that being said, call the store. And if we can help you, we will. Hit the customer chat. If we can help you, we will. We will find a way. It's literally one of our core values is take action, find a way. Who dat? Sandman. Bear learned a long time ago, never trust a man who doesn't swear. A man who doesn't swear is hiding something. I appreciate that. That's another thing I'll tell you guys and gerbils here. This is a very unscripted show. And you get me good days, bad days, up days, down days. You get me. And if you ever met me in person, I am this way, if not more so, in person than I am when the camera's on. Somebody told me recently, you were the most intense person I've ever met. And I'm like, dude, you need a new friend group. I know people way more intense than I am, but I am very much so real. You might not know this. I'm not a professional actor. I have zero media training. My production team is on the live stream is me. It's this camera that Matt Gaza gave me 6 years ago. And this microphone that was in my barn plugged into a laptop. That's the production team. That's it. So am I going to swear? Probably. If I'm in a swearing mood, yeah, for sure. 100%. Reiterating, Refuge Medical. What do we got? Let's go to the sob, the SOB. It's been a hot minute since we've done the sob. I just yesterday shredded with my bare hands a Chinese manufactured night vision pouch that Bob had acquired just for giggles. It was terrible, terribly constructed. And it's indicative of the quality across the board of these things that are manufactured overseas versus this that we make here in the United States of America that we guarantee forever. The 125 people's lives have been saved. 125 people got to go home to their kids because we showed up for work. That's an absolute blessing. We make this here. This is guaranteed forever. Nobody else in the industry guarantees their stuff forever. We've had 5 warranty claims in 5 years. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's because most of the time it sits on a shelf or in a backpack or in a vehicle. Yeah. Unless you're the cool guys with no names doing things that never happened in places that don't exist who are jumping out of helicopters. Dude, one of the after action reports we got on a bear fact, the entire contents of a bear fact, all of it. Tourniquet, pressure bandage, gloves, gauze, 5x9s, chest seals, burn shield, nasal pharyngeal airway, triangle bandage, rolled gauze, 2x2s, 4x4s, 5x9s, like all of it. Duct tape was the entire kit was used to save one guy's life and get him back on a helicopter who was overseas conducting a mission so that you and I can be free here in the United States of America. So yeah, they get used by cool guys too. They're specified by certain units of cool guys, which is why I can say confidently, it's going to work in your minivan or your Peterbilt or your truck or your Jeep, right? And so we've had 5 warranty claims in 5 years, meaning we build our shit super durable here in the United States of America. And this is the Saab, the SOB, small of the back. And dude, Bob, we should come out with a Saab turbo. Just cause it's like this, but extra. Anyway, this weighs 15.4 ounces. So less than a loaded AR magazine. It's about this big. Okay. It fits on the back of your war belt. You carry your chest rig, whatever. You got your tourniquet on the outside mounted with a piece of shock cord. So come right off either hand so you can get at it. No problem. But it is well enough retained that you can ruck with this, crawl with this, jump with this, whatever you're into. And it's a real cat tourniquet, not some shit off of Temu. You pop this open, you grab the red handle, pull out. Now I'm holding my bleeding control kit. It's not stuck to my body where I can't see it, can't get at it after I've been shot, stabbed, blown up, eyes filled with blood. It's in the dark, whatever. And note that little tag right there. Made in the United States of America, baby, by real Americans. Pop that open. I've got all my stuff in here. Like what? Let's see. I got a Sharpie so that I can fill out my medical tape. And so I can draw phalluses on the foreheads of the guys that I'm elevating to hire because I'm bored waiting for the chopper to show up. I've got airway and respiratory, a pair of Halo chest seals, one vented, one non-vented. You only need one vent. And a nasal pharyngeal airway, size 28 French for maintaining a patent airway. I've got combat gauze, hemostatic agent for wound packing, typically in the junctional areas. That's going to be your neck, your shoulders, your pelvic girdle. I've got regular compressed gauze for wound packing right here as well. I've got a North American Rescue 4-inch emergency trauma bandage for wound packing. Got a pair of gloves because if it's wet and not yours, don't touch it. And I've got some flat duct tape because duct tape rules the damn universe. And it's coyote tan, which is super cool, with some little BZK wipes tucked in right back here. Because if you opt for the chest dart option, I'll just leave it at that. And this thing, again, compared to the market, packed, like the loaded bag that's made in America is cheaper than a lot of our competition and guaranteed forever. And, you know, I've never tried to rip an SOB in half, but we'll try. Nope. Looks like it just came out of the sew shop. Go watch that video on Instagram and on Facebook, Refuge Medical. Follow our socials. See how easily I shredded that China pouch. Okay. But I don't do TACMED stuff. I'm just a school bus driver. Cool. So a level 1 mass casualty incident is 5 or more casualties. That's your pickup truck or your SUV filled with kids coming back from the grocery store that gets sideswiped. 68 of our 125 lives saved, motor vehicle accidents. You drive every day, you're just stress inoculated to it. We are for life. Refuge Medical is for life. We're for the preservation of life. We guarantee our products for life, and you need them for everyday life. Come see us. Promo code BearNation for free shipping if you're into that kind of stuff. Now, I got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. Let's talk to the author of all the things that we have to do today, who's sovereign over all things, including our calendars. Sound good? Okay, Bear. Awesome. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you for all the things that we take for granted. Thank you for all the things that you're doing behind the scenes that we're not even aware of. Thank you for the fact that all things work together for your good, for your glory, and that you are good to us. You are a good Father who loves us and gives us good gifts and protects us, provides us, and blesses us, who made a way for us to come back home again by the blood of your Son, who even when we thought we were going without, we were still stewarded, who in spite of the fact that we are just broken, stubborn, petulant children sometimes, your heart is kindled with compassion and you love us anyway. Father, thank you for being who you are. Unmutable, unchanging, consistent, ever-present, indwelt in our daily lives inexplicably. Father, thank you for that. Let us not lose sight of who you are and who we are as sons and daughters of the Most High, the creator of the universe, covered by the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach, redeemed back into your house, made new and given a new heart, and given your spirit for wisdom and discernment, and for guidance and for conviction, and for giftings and talents and delights, for reproof and instruction. Your ways are not our ways. And thank you for that. Father, thank you for guiding us by your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit. Father, put us where we need to be. Give us the words that we need to speak. Open the doors that are for us and close the doors, slam them shut that are not for us. Father, please, a double portion of wisdom and discernment, that even as the world spins out of control, we can tell right from wrong, good from bad, up from down, that we don't get wrapped up in the drama, that we stay rooted in you. Father Yahweh, please give us strength and power and authority in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to do many mighty works in your name, for your glory and your power, not for our glory, not our power, not for our esteem, but for the proving of who you are, for the building of witness and testimony, for the destruction of walls and stumbling blocks. Father Yahweh, give us peace. Father, everybody who is out there going some stuff right now, please minister to them. Bring them close, hold them tight. Father, whisper lovingly in their ear. Father, destroy the narrative of the enemy. Be indwelt in us. Let our temples be cleansed that you might dwell here. And Father Yahweh, if there is anything within the sound of my voice that is not of you, we come together in agreement and rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach by his power and authority, that it would be utterly destroyed. Father, backstop us with your love. Let us be the light, the city on the hill, weaponized for righteousness. Let no weapon formed against us prosper. Deliver us from evil and temptation. Pluck our eyes out and take our hands, lest we stumble, that we might serve you better and enter into your reign. Father, be with these people today. Please protect them. Please provide for them, and please bless them. Make your face to shine upon them. And ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you when I see you. Joyce, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. And yeah, for everybody out there who thinks the Father's bullshit, I've seen a comment or two like that. In closing, yeah, me too. I used to think that way. I spent a decade in apostasy. I'm covered with satanic tattoos, and I did the worst things that a person can do on planet Earth for a decade. I hurt myself and I hurt everybody else too. And yet, and still, the Father loved me. He kicked my ass because I deserved it. But it was impossible for me to run far enough away from him that he stopped loving me. And all it took was teshuvah, repentance, turning from my wicked ways, turning to him and confessing. Be careful thumbing your nose at the creator of the universe, because he will wreck you. He reproves and disciplines those that he loves. It sometimes can feel like you're being wrecked, you're being utterly destroyed, but when you consider that the author of all things could wipe you off the face of the earth in an instant, and he hasn't seen fit to do that yet, and he tarries with you in love, he tolerates you, he is long suffering with you, I would maybe reconsider your position on this is all a bunch of bullshit. You say that long enough, he'll show you who he is. He loves his people. Don't go so great for everybody else at the end of an age. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.